G'day folks, it's Howie here. You know, I bet I'm not the only one who's wondered, why do we still have compulsory voting in Australia? Now before you roll your eyes and say, oh well, that's just the way it's always been, maybe it's time we asked whether it still makes sense today, if it ever did. Because let's be honest, the way our governments are behaving today, something's got to change. I mean, we've got the socialist Albanese government spending money like drunken sailors, slowly moving our children towards being wards of the state, destroying our manufacturing, killing free speech, desecrating our beautiful countryside with bloody solar panels and stuff, and building trillions of dollars of debt for future generations to pay off. And on the other side, we have a rudderless coalition, can't decide which way's up, bobbing around like a cork in an ocean. Yeah, they've just made a decision about net zero, but half of them don't believe in it. And add to that the handful of teals, other independents, many backed by billionaires with vested interests, running the renewable flag up the flagpole like it's a cure for all ills, instead of the virus that's infecting us all. Now, it doesn't matter if it's state, federal or local election, doesn't matter. You look at the ballot paper and you think, well, none of these jokers represent me, and yet we're still forced to vote for one of them. And please, don't come at me with that, oh, you don't have to vote, you just have to show up. You don't have to put anything on the voting paper. Well, ironically, that's actually an argument for not having compulsory voting. So if you ask why we should continue with compulsory voting in Australia, I can't honestly give you a sensible answer, but if you ask me why we should scrap it, well, that's a different conversation altogether. I was watching YouTube and there's an American tourist on his blog listing 10 things in Australia that just made sense. And one of them was compulsory voting, an American. And he said it made sense because in America, people just don't vote because they can't be bothered. Well, that's exactly my point. In America, candidates have to earn your vote, have to persuade you, convince you to care enough not only to vote for them, but to turn up in the first place. That's a bloody sight harder than having compulsory voting. It keeps them honest, keeps politicians honest, and it keeps them connected. So what happens when voting is voluntary? Well, politicians can't rely on their rusted-on supporters, because even rusted-on supporters get the ups with their party. So, politicians during elections and leading up to the elections throughout the whole term have to focus their attention and money not just on the marginal seats and give lip service to others. They must earn every vote with policies that not only matter, but must matter enough to encourage people to vote, to want people to buy their product. They have to spend their entire term, not just the final 6 months, talking with the people, developing real policies, and genuinely listening. 3 years of hard works by candidates selected by members, not faceless faction leaders, immediately after an election, not 2 months before. This gives us 3 years of accountability, 3 years of trying to earn the trust. Can you imagine that? That doesn't sound like the Australian system whatsoever, does it? Now be honest. How many of us have voted for someone we didn't really want just because we dislike the others even more? Best of a bad lot, as they say. That's what I call a wasted vote. Well, maybe it's worse than a wasted vote. It's a vote for someone we don't think is actually up to the job. And independents, I've got nothing against independents, but there are far too many putting their names forward for just nuisance value. That's why we have Senate papers longer than the South Sea Scrolls. If people want to run, fine, good on them. If they want to represent the people, good on them. But make them present a list of real policies, not a single policy based on gender, race, religion, or climate change, or, real policies, proper policies, national security, finance, education, health, immigration, taxation, industrial relations, all the big stuff. Whole list of them, not just one. They've got to present all those before they're even accepted to enrol. And maybe they should also have to lodge a substantial amount of money, refundable only if they win a minimum number of votes. So I mean a substantial deposit. And to say, oh, well, we're too poor, we can't afford it. Well, what you have to do is, like everybody in politics should have to do, persuade enough people to like their policies, persuade enough people that they will truly represent them, and then encourage them to donate. That's how the system should work. That would weed out the attention seekers from serious contenders, take the fight up to major parties, and give voters an informed alternative to consider. It's the free market at work. Whoever offers the best product gets the most votes. And while we're cleaning things up, how about truth in advertising? If a company can't lie about their products, why can politicians lie about their policies? That exemption for the truth in advertising during election campaigns should go. Full stop. That's the end of it. Gone. Think about it. We are forced to vote for someone who can lie to us about their intentions. Think about that seriously. No, tell the truth or you're out. No lawyers, no appeals, it's not complicated. And while we're at it, we must scrap compulsory preferential voting too. If I only like one candidate, I should be allowed to vote for that one candidate. Now, if I want to give preferences to others, that's fine. Well, I don't want my preference to be passed on to someone else I don't agree with. Simple democracy, not enforced preference against my will. So what do you reckon? Am I on the wrong train? Or is this time we had proper national discussions about whether compulsory voting still serves us? So let me ask this. Is compulsory voting just political laziness, dressed up as democracy? Now, before you decide, let me explain why it was introduced in the first place. Seems to back up my thoughts. In 1924, Senator Hubert Payne, I've got to read this, concerned about a big drop in the number of people voting. And he introduced a bill to make voting compulsory. He said if voter participation rates continued to drop, now listen to this, Parliament would not truly represent the will of the Australian people or make laws in the interest of all Australians. All right? That was his reasoning. Not politicians improve their product. I know, just make it mandatory. So that they can make laws in the interest of all Australians. The current Labor government, making all these decisions running roughshod over us, got a landslide victory, winning 48.7% of the seats in Parliament with just 34.7% of the vote. All Australians? Some Senate seats, because of the preferential voting and the way they work it all out, they pass one on to the other, have gained with just 2% of the vote. Really? So that's what they call representing everyone? No, come on. Please, think about it and let me know what you think in the comments. For or against, I generally want to hear it. If you enjoyed this chat, give it a thumbs up, please, and maybe share it with a mate. And some likes and to subscribe would also help me. Thanks for watching. I'm Howie, and as always, Ooroo.